Okay, let's continue. In previous presentations, we talked about manifestation and embodiment and the approach from the Eastern spiritual approach and the Western more analytical structure mode. So we continue here with structuring manifestation and embodiment from a slight more Western approach, but understand what we mean here. When we talk about mental, a decision, emotional, a goal, no goal, presentation, etheric, the building of the reality, and the physical, the result, understand that we're cutting the pie in pieces and we have to consider all the time the full pie, the spiritual Eastern overlapping oneness pie. Okay, let's cut some more pies and get some more abstract presentations and matrices back into each other. First, we had, if you agree, the process of a manifestation goes from the abstract to the specific. And we mentioned that and we cut that in 4 pieces. The process, the mental process, the emotional process, the etheric or the astral process and the physical process. That is pi number 1. That is the process, but we can also cut a manifestation into levels, because at first mental, emotional, etheric and physical, this is a personal, individual level. So here again we cut the pie in 4 pieces for our convenience, not that it is correct, but for our convenient Western analytic structure. We will, by consensus, we cut them from a cosmic level to a personal level. So we have the cosmic, the collective, the soul, and the personal. So understand here, I will reverse the situation. You can have a process, the mental, emotional, etheric, physical process in a personal level, but that is not the full picture. We can also say, hey, wait, we have of course our manifestation processes on the personal, individual level, but when we're talking about karma, when we're talking about evolution, when we're talking about incarnation, then we ascend the personal level, and then we go to the soul level. And then again, for practical, analytical Western preference, we create a second level on top of the personal. We connect to the soul level. So at the soul level, we are talking about, okay, what is the soul path here? For instance, in this life, personal life, we will address this one and this and this and this and this. And we will go each time through the mental, emotional, etheric and physical process. But the soul is, of course, a kind of manager of many personal paths or individuals. So that path is a manager of several soul personal paths, and each of those paths have a proper individual 4-cut pie process. So this is now those levels and the processes we are merging and putting in a kind of matrix. The personal and the soul is, if you understand, is still connected with what we call, again, in the Western society, as individual. But there is no such thing as individual. No man is an island, so we cannot consider that we are going through a process that is individual, but not influenced by another individual or even from another soul. So, and a soul is a collective of individuals. But you see what we are doing here. We are doing a collective of individuals, which is a soul. But a collective of souls we call the collective. For instance, we can call a collective a country. We can call a collective Earth. We can call collective a Milky Way. We can call a collective humans. We can call a collective pigs. We can call a collective trees and different kind of trees or whatever. So you see, we can cut the pie into several pieces, and those pieces are correct when you are thinking structurally and Western analytically. But of course, this is for your mind, Western mind understanding. This doesn't say that this is correct. Everything is overlapping. We are talking about fractals here. But of course, fractals are very difficult to understand, or at least to get an overview. So we're trying to get the pie into pieces which is understandable for the human mind and for our human individual consciousness at this moment in time. But of course, we are always talking on a cosmic, multi-dimensional level. So also for cosmic, that means the only thing we can consider as cosmic is the cosmos, and that means the universe. But Eastern philosophy and even New Age Western philosophy takes into account there might be more than one universe, or more than one timeline, whatever you call it. So understand, again, we're cutting things in order to understand. And each of them, the personal level, the soul level, the collective level, the cosmic level, which are just definitions for your understanding, each of those four can be again cut into four processes. So we have four levels, and each of them contains four processes. So here we have put the two pies next to each other, the level pie and the process pie, the level being personal, soul, collective, cosmic, and the process physical, etheric, emotional, and mental. So you see, we are put them next to each other in the same perspective, so it is understandable for us. No one says this is correct. This is just to get things on paper and to make things understandable. What we need to add here first also is what I said. The process goes like this. First the mental, then the emotional, then the etheric, then the physical. And we put it here as a kind of countdown, because we are going from the abstract to the specific. So we are going from the big overview to a more specific manifestation, to the point. So we are here like a triangle with the top below, like a funnel. So the funnel is that there is energy coming in, a thought, an emotion, whatever, and the funnel that we're trying to emphasize here is the process funnel. The same funnel is with the levels. So we have the level, we are at the cosmic, the big open funnel, and then we're coming down, 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 down through the collective, through the soul to the personal. So those two funnels we are going to put together into one slide. which is this one. And please look at it carefully and slowly, because what we did is, how should I, okay, where should I start? Let's start with 12. So we are on the cosmic level, and we have the mental process. Then we go down 11, cosmic level, emotional process. 10, cosmic level, etheric process. 9, and here we are switching. Why? Because the physical number 4 is also the first of the next level. So we have process, mental, emotional, etheric, physical, but we have cosmic, 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 collective, because the last cosmic physical level is the first collective mental level. So we are switching from level here. And if you are good in math, we get into a counter, no, not a count, yeah, a clockwise, but a counting down circle, but it's more a spiral, it is more a fractal, it is more a cone, or how do you call it? I can't find the name anymore. I will find it later. So we are counting down. So what we call, maybe again from 12, we have the cosmic mental level. We might describe as God, source, Atman, and then we go down, 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 and we go through the levels, and in the same time we go through the processes, and in the end we have here our spiral view. So please consider that as a possible mapping of a cosmic manifestation from the cosmic level to the personal level, and from the mental processes up to the personal, no, to the physical. And here you need to understand some extra thing, although we call it a body, because it is, at least for me, more understandable. None of them are a body, they are an embodiment, because they are not physical. Only, at least I do, consider a body as a physical body. The rest is only an embodiment. So embodiment is a result, and the final result, or at least as we understand it in the third dimension, the final physical result we call a body. On the other side, the physical body is but a result. So if we should say, oh yes, so the physical body is the lowest and the most strict and dense embodiment, correct? But it is not final. And that is the big understanding also here. An embodiment is a temporary result where we are pointing on, where we are focusing on, because we cut things analytical in pieces. We took a photo from it This I call a collective intelligent body. This I call a physical body. But everything is in a changing mode. It is a continuous fractal and continuous spiral that is an ongoing in many dimensions and in many timelines, and then a big universal soup with an interconnectedness in space, in time, beyond space, beyond time. And that's why I put it here, to understand this soup. A personal, individual mind or brain is incapable of doing that. When we're talking about um, telepathy, when we're talking about bilocation, when we're talking about the buddhi, when we're talking about the causal body, when we're talking about the intellectual body, when we're talking about the light body, these are similar definitions, but who am I to understand that? Because I will talk for myself. Not 1% of what I put here on paper as a structure I do understand. So talking about the content of those bodies, which are just temporarily photos, I cannot explain, and I don't expect any of us to explain. And I hope someone can do more, and there will be people that can do more, but put on paper, this is the causal body, and he said it does this and this and this and this. This is an analytical Western approach that gives us probably a very tiny view on a structure, but never the content, because the content is not the form. The full pie is not the piece of the pie. So on the trying to explain one piece of the pie without knowing the full pie is incomprehensible and impossible. So here I give just a faint view from afar how we might look at bodies, embodiments, manifestation processes, manifestation levels. And on my best account, I had drawn here an overview that is understandable for my and our limited mind and consciousness.